Conflict and personal struggles are often the main focus of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta's dynamic universe. But Season 12, Episode 15 takes a startling turn that surprises both viewers and cast members. The show's main character, Lil Scrappy, is well known for his erratic behavior and tumultuous relationships. No one could have foreseen the startling revelation he makes. In the end, the discovery at the beginning of the play puts their hard-won family at risk and upends his already turbulent marriage to Bambi. Despite their ups and downs, Bambi and Lil Scrappy seem to have a typical day since they are committed to co-parenting and maintaining their hectic schedules. A calm moment quickly turns into a frenzy as they attempt to focus on their family relationships and spend time with their children, but something darker is simmering behind closed doors. Renowned for his courage and perseverance, Scrappy talks about a recent shocking revelation that has rocked his world. He can't remember making a string of increasingly dubious purchases that have been appearing on his credit record. The charges continue to increase in magnitude and frequency until they eventually come to his attention, but first he ignores them, thinking that there might have been an error or perhaps a bank blunder. Not insufficient numbers, but each one was more shocking than the others. A minor buy here, a questionable transaction there, but the figures soon achieve a staggering $1 million in total. Scrappy is shocked to learn the truth. His assumption that his card must have been stolen is correct. It may have been a friend or acquaintance who had access to his bank account details. As he investigates the claims further, however, he notices a concerning trend. Instead of coming from random sources or unidentified individuals, they are all related to his wife, Bambi. Scrappy perceives the information as a betrayal. What if a person who was so acquainted with? He recalls moments when he had dropped his guard and allowed Bambi to access his bank accounts so she could take care of money matters or emergencies. What he has learned has caused him a lot of emotional stress, and he never thought those simple acts of trust would be so brutally exploited against him. There is more at risk here than just money. Trust is being betrayed. It wasn't just a little here and there. Bambi had covertly spent $1 million. Or configuration when Scrappy delivers the heartbreaking news to his closest friends and family. His face shows how sad he is. A single, unambiguous message is conveyed by the majority of them, yet some seem surprised or outraged. Even though they advise him to get legal advice and act right away to protect his assets, Scrappy is reluctant to make his private life public, especially when his kids are involved, and he plans to do so at any cost. Scrappy chooses to speak with Bambi in spite of his inner turmoil, and they sit down to discuss the issue. There's a noticeable tension in the room. Scrappy's pulse races as he turns to face Bambi, who at first seems unaware of the terrible situation. When Scrappy shows him the bank statements that demonstrate the increasing expenditures, his composure simply serves to confirm his sense of complete deception. Bambi's expression, she stops to think about what Scrappy is saying she did, and her eyes widen in surprise. It seems oppressive between them as the gravity of the situation sinks in. Bambi first rejects all of this, claiming that something went wrong. Despite possible miscommunications, Scrappy's proof is indisputable. Every purchase, every bill as the battle intensifies, every indication points to her. When her first amazement wears off and the repercussions of her behavior become clear, Bambi breaks down in tears and tells Scrappy that the money was not spent out of greed or malice, but rather in response to a request for help. As she battled to juggle her personal problems, her husband's demands, and her children's responsibilities, she admitted that she felt overworked and alone, not only with Scrappy. Spending was Bambi's escape strategy because she believed it would provide her with a brief break from the stress she was going through and a sense of control over a world that sometimes seemed out of her grasp. Although the shopping spree was a protest against the mental turmoil she had been experiencing, Scrappy was hurt and disillusioned and found her hard to understand. She stole not only the money, but also his confidence and sense of security in their relationship, and he claims he doesn't understand how she could so totally betray his trust. The situation becomes a little more intense as Scrappy and Bambi try to cope with the consequences of the disclosure. With tears in her eyes, Bambi admits that she never intended to hurt him and was enmeshed in a vicious circle of emotional pain and self-doubt. In spite of the harsh realities, Scrappy remains wary and skeptical. Since the woman he believed he knew and loved has betrayed him in an unthinkable way, he feels that their trust has been eroded, despite his want to believe that Bambi is sorry. This feeling of uncertainty persists until the very conclusion of the program, leaving Scrappy feeling emotionally spent and uncertain about his future. Will they be able to be married and move on from Bambi, or is this the end of their tumultuous relationship? Bambi must, however, deal with the consequences of her actions. Hip-hop fans and lovers must now accept that Scrappy's choices have jeopardized everything she has worked so hard to accomplish, in addition to dealing with the impact from her confession. There is little doubt that no matter how much time passes, Scrappy and Bambi's journey together will never be the same. Everyone in Atlanta is anxious about this unexpected event, wondering how they will deal with the aftermath and whether their romance will survive this problem, or if it is the end of their story. Scrappy chooses to speak with Bambi despite his inner conflicts when they sit down to discuss the issue. There is a strained feeling in the room. Scrappy glances at Bambi, whose pulse is pounding and who at first seems completely unaware of how serious the situation is. When Scrappy shows him the bank statements that demonstrate the rising costs, his sense of deception is exacerbated by her composure. Bambi doesn't answer immediately. Her countenance shifts as her eyes widen in wonder as she takes it all in. At first, Bambi insisted that everything must have been misunderstood, but Scrappy's proof is undeniable with every accusation and expense. Between them, the silence grows stifling as the situation's truth sinks in. All the signs point towards her as the fight intensifies. When Scrappy's first astonishment fades and the repercussions of her behavior become apparent, Bambi sobs and provides an explanation that she knows is ridiculous. Bambi. She acknowledged feeling overworked and isolated from everyone and everything, even Scrappy, as she battled to juggle the demands of being a wife, kids, and personal matters. It was a call for help, not a resentful or avaricious use of the money. Bambi utilized spending as an escape strategy because she thought it would provide her with a moment's relief from the stress she was going through and a sense of control in a world that often seemed unmanageable.